Samhain is the time of year when the veils begin between this world and the other world are believed to be at their very thinnest, when the spirits of the dead could mingle with the living once again. So Live95's Fiona Madigan decided to visit a haunted castle, Castlegarde Castle in Capamore, to do a séance. Because she's a little bit mad. And she's with us this morning. Fiona, tell us about the castle and what you did.
Oh, thanks, Gillian. Well, I'll tell you, to start off, there's castles and then there's Castlegarde Castle. It is the most stunning castle and it is steeped in history. It was originally built by the last King of Munster, Donal Mór O'Brien, and it's kind of got these extensions onto it since. It belongs to David Thompson. It's his ancestral home and it's the oldest inhabited castle in Ireland. So an absolutely beautiful castle, and there were many stories and a huge amount of history attached to the castle and a lot of ghost stories, and David told us a couple of ghost stories, and
we have one of them here. Are we going to listen to one of them now?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay.
The first thing I knew about ghosts, I suppose, here was the locals. Now, unfortunately, they're all dead when I wanted to find out more about it. At our front gate there was an apparition and nobody would walk that road at night, and that was the first one. And secondly, then my father had a lovely set of books and he sold them, and the minute they left, the windows and doors all rattled at night, and he turned around and the only change was the books had gone, so he went and bought them back at a big price.
Yeah.
And the minute they came back again, it was all silent.
Amazing.
And then, of course, I had my own experience in the way that I was shooting with Billy Madden down in the marsh, and I came up the Gert of Alaboreen at about 6 o'clock, plenty of light, and he was smoking his pipe, and he sat back on the ditch, and I got on the push bike and freewheeled down to our back gate, and I was closing the back gate and the fellow came out of the lodge, and we chatted for 20 minutes, half an hour, I don't know, but he knew every bird's nest and every fox's den, and I said, God, how the devil is this? So he said good luck then, and went off up the road, and there's a field up there called Corrigeen, and there's a gate opening onto the main road, another gate opening onto the Gert of Alaboreen in the far corner. And so I got on the push bike anyway and was coming up the back. Suddenly I started shaking and my hair stood up, I was sweating and I was freezing and I couldn't ride a bike. So it took me ages anyway to walk home, and I sat on the edge of the bed all night, went down and milked the cows in the morning, and my father used to take the milk to the creamery. And I said, look, could you ever check the lodge? I said, it's meant to be locked. A fellow came out there last night and I told him about it. So he came back, he said, hey, you're really going crackers this time. He says, there's no way is there anything there. They said it's locked. So anyway, I met Billy Madden then the next day, and I said, Billy, they all think I've gone crackers about it. And he says, why, what's wrong? So I told him, shit jippers, he says, he's the ghost from Toher. He often comes over here. And in fact, he hopped over the gate in front of me as I was going home.
A ghost from Toher. That was a regular.
Yeah. There's a few regulars actually. If you, they do tours, and David has loads more stories like that. His most famous ghost in the castle is the Lady in Silk, and his mother met the Lady in Silk, and she had a chain on her leg, and apparently she never recovered from it. Loads more stories like that.
Right, so tell us about this séance.
Yes, so to set the scene, I went down there, I assembled a team of paranormal ghost hunters comprising myself and the Live95 team here, including Nadia and two of the shadows, Anna Powell and Jodie Mulcahy, my brave troop. I brought my mother-in-law with me for spiritual support, and down there then we met GhostÉire. They're a paranormal research team, Munster's #1 paranormal research team. They're from Kerry, and we met up with David Thompson down there, and together we went into a room after an exclusive tour of the castle. We then settled ourselves in a room and began the séance, and it was led by Anthony of GhostÉire.
Okay, let's take a listen to that. So
Calling in any energies, any spirits, and any spirit guides coming forward. We're here to talk to you, commune with you, if there's any spirits present. Now, this might be unfamiliar to you. If you're talking to our spirit guides, you can mediate with them and talk to them as well, and we'll go through each experiment. So this is a wooden instrument. It's like a square kind of triangle, I think it's a trapezium, kind of shaped instrument. And we're going to place our finger, our index finger, probably 2 or 3 of us on it, on this device. The aim of it is either for you spirits to come forward and maybe push it, or to come through us and push it. Or maybe just to do with our unconsciousness, communicating with your unconsciousness, to go towards, to push it. We're asking, dear spirits, 3 categories, 3 descriptions of what is associated with this building this evening. If you can move the planchette towards that particular symbol, if you make it prominent to that description. So the planchette is circling counterclockwise at the moment. Many spiritualists say that's building up energy. We have 4 people connected on the planchette with their index finger, and that's gone to positive active area. Thank you. Go Margaret. Now, we've got positive active area, which means that this area, a lot of energy. Good, happy energy. Happy energy.
So, according to Anthony there, does that mean the ghosts were kind of, getting in contact with you, with their energy?
Absolutely, yeah. It meant positive active area. Good, positive energy, but there was definitely an energy in the room. So, yes. So that was just the beginning of the seance. And then Anthony conducted various experiments with which we took part. And we did make contact with spirits, and we got various different messages. Now, at one point then, one of the experiments that we did, we came up with words such as love, stars and box. And I suppose that was the biggest kind of revelation was the stars. And we made contact with a Jane Foster. Now, then we went on to
How did you know her name was Jane Foster?
Okay, so we used what was called politically correctly a talking board.
Okay, and non-politically correctly a Ouija board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that, I suppose once we'd ascertained that it was positive and it wasn't negative, it was safe to go on the talking board.
Okay.
Kind of a thing.
And just the letters were spelt out and you got Jane Foster?
Yes,
the way it worked?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was it. We got Jane Foster from 1856, and we also got that she was making bread. And then the 3 key words that we got was love, stars and box. Now, we tried to get, then we went on to do another experiment which involved radio frequency sweep, to try and pick up some noises as well.
Okay, will I play a bit of that? So will I?
Yeah, it gets pretty intense here now, so this is an intense bit. Yeah.
Oh.
So this is called a portal. It's connected to a device which is scanning the airwaves, and it's on a sweep. So it's going at different speeds. So we're going to probably put it up to. We've got a sweep down slowly. Some people say this is audio pareidolia, that we actually, how we see things, like clouds, faces in clouds, and this is like, hearing sounds in the wind, voices in the wind, and more than any other experience that you have with the paranormal. Whether it's to do with an altered state of consciousness, like dreaming, pumpic or hypnagogic dream state, or an near-death experience. Drafts or cold spots are the main things for ghostly manifestation.
What is that noise?
That's the radio sweep. It's actually basically doing a sweep to try and pick up any audio. So listen really carefully and just tell me if you can hear any voices coming through.
Slightly on the table. Okay, we're asking any spirits to come forward. We want to awaken your consciousness. I know you might be already awake, Jane, but we want to make your energy more stronger, more predominant. Come towards us now, step forward. Or step back, come into our realm. Step out of the shadows and into the light, step out of the light and into the shadows. What heavy is light, what light is heavy. The time is now, now is now, now shall be. So after 3 we're going to say stars. 1, 2, 3. Stars!
See, I can't tell now what I'm hearing, whether that's ye guys chatting away or whether it's a ghost from the other side. I did think I heard something at some point, but I don't know. I'm a cynic here. This is all this law, that radio frequency. Eventually you listen to it long enough and it'll sound like a woman screaming or, crying out.
Well, Gillian, I'll tell you now, I spent a long time listening back to this audio, and I spent the time in the room for the seance. And there was a couple of strange noises that I definitely picked up. Just have a listen back to just one part there.
Yeah, the one seance clip, that you think there's a voice on this one, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Just have a close. Yeah.
And that's not any of you in the room, that bit at the end. Let's go one more two. You can't make out what they're saying, can you?
No, not quite, but it definitely was. It was like a woman's voice, and I suppose, look, maybe I was kind of tuning in to try and hear.
Long and short of it, you believe all this?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
And my findings are based on facts. I have done a lot of research on all of this now, okay? So first, right, like I say, from the seance we got very clearly a woman called Jane Foster, 1856. So the first thing I did, I was Googling. I went straight to Dr. Google, Mr. Google, and I went and I found out that in 1856 there was, for the stars, right? One of the key words was stars. And in 1856, the Limerick Observer reported a celestial event that lasted 3 days. Now, to put it into context, 1856 is just after the famine in Ireland, right? So obviously food is a priority for people, right? 1856 August, a gentleman of highest respectability in Corbally reported that he'd witnessed what appeared to be a fire on the top of Keeper Hill to the east, which would be in the direction of Cappamore. And this comet was described in many reports as a good omen, heralding a new period of 7 years of plenty and fatness. Now, if I was Jane Foster in the 1950s and I was making bread and I'd witnessed this moment of stars, wouldn't that be something that it would resonate with you? Like
stars, bread,
love,
yeah,
exactly. So, Gillian, I would ask you this question: if there was a heaven, what way would you describe it? What would you call heaven?
Paradise.
Yeah. So, like a perfect moment in your life. Yeah. So for me, maybe I feel that my theory is that we contacted a Jane Foster from 1856 who was living in her little moment of heaven where she was making bread. She just witnessed a celestial event and it was a period of plentiful and fatness.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
Now, so then, right, the second thing that I would say is that I took 6 professional audio recorders with me. 2 of those recorders came back completely corrupted. And the third thing is that finally we found Jane Foster with the help of David Thompson.
Yeah.
David Thompson, the day of the seance, had to go to a funeral, his friend's funeral, and the lady's name was Gráinne Rachel Weir. Gráinne Rachel Weir, her ancestors were Hannah Jane Foster, née Stansfield, and Hannah Jane Foster, née Stanfield's daughter was Ethel Jane Foster, who married Lucius O'Brien, the 15th Baron of Inchiquin of Dromoland Castle, and there's a painting of her in the entrance of Dromoland Castle.
Well, there you go.
Now,
well, it'd be pretty hard not to believe it if you came up with all of those connections. We've had a listener say that he heard a female voice saying penny, the word penny. So maybe you need to connect that to your stars, to your box, to your love, and all the other words, and the bread. And you might come up with some more, Fiona. But you're a braver woman than I am. I'd be a bit of a cynic, but I have to say I wouldn't have the courage to do it. So well done, and thanks for sharing it on this Halloween. I think this is a perfect song to finish that up with.
Thanks, Jodie.